What's going on, bulls? Sorry I haven't made a video in a while. I am still getting over COVID, and I'm finally feeling well enough to actually make a video today. COVID was no joke. It really slapped me, kicked me in the balls, and threw me down because I didn't have energy to do anything, and I did not feel good. Leave a comment if you have had COVID. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Big stuff is happening. Big stuff. You know, as I'm sure you've heard, unless you've been living under a rock, the Ethereum London Hardfork, well, upgrade rather, has finally happened. It happened yesterday. Today is the 6th of August. It happened on the 5th of August. And what this is enabled is Ethereum is now burning Ethereum, meaning it's literally getting rid of, taking Ethereum out of the supply, never to be seen, never to be had, never to be used again, meaning that the supply of Ethereum has drastically decreased. Now, not the entire supply, that's not what I mean. The new supply coming in. So every single day there's new Ethereum getting mined, just like Bitcoin. But now what this is doing, because of the fees getting burned, the new daily supply is drastically less than it was on August 4th. That's what I'm saying. So when we talk about stock to flow ratio, supply and demand, the flow of new supply is a big factor. And so this flow of supply is drastically decreased. It's not, I can't give you a hard number on how decreased it is. But best I can tell, you can consider the new Ethereum daily supply to be somewhere around like 30% of what it was. So if there was one new Ethereum a day, or let's say this, if there's 10 new Ethereum coming in a day, now there's only like 3. That's what I've come to equate in terms of how impactful this is. So what that naturally does, because of the law of supply and demand, the supply is drastically down, the new supply. So, and the demand is at least still where it is. So now the demand is much higher than the supply. Not to mention, much of the existing Ethereum is getting locked up in the Ethereum 2.0 stake, which, for instance, you could do that on like Coinbase. You could go there and you can stake your Ethereum into the Ethereum 2.0 pool, but you cannot take it out until Ethereum 2.0 launches. In the meanwhile, you'll be collecting interest on your Ethereum. Majority of Ethereum in existence right now is actually staked, waiting for ETH 2.0 to come out. When will ETH 2.0 come out? I don't know. Nobody knows. Currently, Ethereum is telling us early 2022. I don't believe that will happen because the time frame keeps getting moved back. I think that it's something they can only do once, and they have to do it right. So we're going to dive more into this burning in a second. Let's take a look at the charts. First, we're going to look at the Bitcoin chart. I'm here in trading view. Let's make this a little bigger here. I'm on the 4-hour chart. Let's actually bring that down here a little bit. Right now, Bitcoin is sitting around, but did it just go down a bunch? Let me pull this into the 1-hour chart, actually. So Ethereum hit a high of around 43,000 earlier today. Right now, looks like it's sitting somewhere around, let's zoom in. Looks like right now it's sitting somewhere around, well, is it the high candle? Because if so, that's sitting somewhere around 42,500. Now, if we look at this chart here, I'm in trading view. I'll leave a link for it in the description. This is actually the market cipher tool that I'm using down here. That's what this is. This is the trading view chart, and then I'm in trading view, and then here's the cipher. So this red dot means it's a top. The green means it's a bottom. For instance, see what this red is? That was a top, and then it typically kind of goes down after that. And then the green is a bottom, so it typically goes up. As you can see how it lines up, it went up some. Here is another green, a really good green to get involved in. Whoop. And then here was a good red to get involved in. Whoop. If you're shorting it. So right now, when I look at this, it looks to me like we're about to hit a top, because you can see this kind of white stripe going on here. And then we hit a top. Same thing happens here, happens down here. I think we're going to be hitting a top, and this white line you're seeing is actually the oversold line. These are two different ciphers I have. This is the market movers, and this is my own. And both of them are getting into the overbought territory. This is, excuse me, this is the overbought line. This is the oversold line. And when you get into those territories, typically there's a bit of a correction, hence overbought, oversold, over. So I think we're going to be hitting a top here at some time soon, which means that, you know, it could go down a little bit, could go down a bunch. A bit of a correction is probably due here. This is on the Bitcoin chart. Let's go to the Ethereum chart. Pull that up. Here we are. We're still on the 1 hour chart. So each of these candles is over the course of an hour, right? So here's Ethereum. Here was a top. Now it looks like kind of still went up a little bit, and then it went down. And these colors down here, this green is the money flow. So money flow up, money flow out. Money flow in, money flow out. This yellow line is the VWAP, which stands for volume weighted average. So let's say we hit a bottom down here, right? And that makes sense because now it's kind of going up. And I still think, well, Ethereum isn't exactly in overbought territory or oversold. It's in between the white lines. That's good. Well, it just is what it is. Not good. It just is what it is. And let's pull this into the 30-minute. Ooh, I think we're getting close to a top on the 30-minute. Meaning, you know, that makes sense because we're at 2,900 right now. 3,000 is a pretty significant, let's go to the 4 hour, a pretty significant resistance point. Let's zoom out a lot. Now 3,000 is pretty high for Ethereum. Now, the highest Ethereum hit was back here. Hit, you know, what's this? What is this here? Hit a little over 4,000, call it 4,200 something, maybe 4,300 was its all-time high. And it's been going down ever since until here, which is, looks like July 20th. Then where it was down to, we'll say around the 1700s. And then it's just been going up, 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 up. Now we've hit this point of resistance, right? Because you can see where these lines are. It's not a coincidence that these spikes happen where they happen. 3,000 seems to be the next spike, but then after that, looks like it should easily get up to, well, I guess that's about 3,100. So this would be another point of resistance, and then the next would be up here at 3,500. So if it can get past this 3,100, watch out, buddy, because we may just fly all the way up to 3,500. Unless you want to count this as a point of resistance, which you could, about 3,300. But right now, we're sitting here, and we seem to be doing well. Although, when we look at this, what do I say? We're on the 4 hour. So 3,200, 3,100, 31, 3,200 could be the next resistance range. Because like I said, right now, we're sitting around 2,900 some. So, and it looks to me like, we're on the 4 hour. Let's pull it to the 1 hour. So these candles are 1 hour in time. Looks like we're going to be hitting the top to me. It looks a little overbought. So I think that we're due for a bit of a correction. How much? I don't know. It could just be a little one like this. Could be a bigger one like this. I'm inclined to think it's somewhere between this and that. So this one went down from 28 to 28.20 to about 27.40. Went down, so that's probably about what? About 4%. And this one up here, 27.32, all the way down to 25.30. So that's about 10%, maybe about 8%. So we'll see here, because this one's went up pretty good. You know, here, this has gone up just like the other ones look. It's went here to here, down, here to here, down, here to here. These ups have been about the same. See what I'm saying? Because down here, 24.72, 27.32, 25.90, 28.25. 27.48, 29.30, something like that. So I think it's going to be coming down here a bit. How much? I don't know. Let's go back into that burning. See, you can't help but feel, because here we are. What's the date here? August 4th. We had a nice run up all before that, but then, you know, there was a correction, 26 down to 24 something, 24.80, and then the 4th. And it starts running up, running up, running up, running up, running up. The 5th happens. This is literally midnight. And the actual hard fork happens somewhere around here, and then it starts going down. And then the market said, all right, I'm in. It's burning. The supply is down. The demand is still at least as high. because the supply is down, is because the supply is locked into ETH 2.0, massive. The majority of all ETH in existence is locked into the ETH 2.0 stake. And the new daily supply is drastically down about 70% from what I can tell. And so all of a sudden they're like, all right, nothing crazy happened. Looks like things are burning. Looks like things are working all right. Let's buy. Ooh, that's a nice game. Maybe I'll take some out. And then it goes down a little bit, not as much as here, because here is more fear. This is not as scary because still nothing has went wrong with this fork, and now it's going up. Now I think some people are going to take the profits because you can see here on the chart, we're getting close. We're going to be hitting the top, I think, this is a good time. I think it's going to go down some. I think it's going to go down some. How much? I don't know. It could do something like, nothing's on this chart to show it, but I mean, you know, the green is a bottom. So, I mean, the green could be right next to the top. It doesn't have to go down below this line like you're seeing, but we're looking for momentum. And momentum, to me, it went down some here because you can see that top going down there. And now we're going up. So I think we're overbought again, and I think we're bound to go down. How much? I don't know. But I think it's a good time to do a short, not financial advice, just my opinion. That's it. But it looks like we're nearing a top here on the 1 hour chart. So going back to the burn, so we're burning almost $395,000 worth of ETH at its current price per hour. Per hour. 2.3 ETH are being burned every minute. And this is across multiple places. We'll get into that in a second. So like we said here, part of that adjustment introduced a mechanism of the EIP 1559 that burns some of the base fees collected, right? So since the upgrade happened, which was just yesterday, at the time of this article being written, which was 17 hours ago, so we're 17 hours past that, so that was about maybe 24 hours in, they've burned almost 3,400 ETH across, well, of ETH in existence, which equates to about $6,600 a minute, and about 400,000 ETH an hour, dollars in ETH an hour. Wow. So that so far in the time that it was live at that time, was about 1 day, there's almost $10 million of ETH burnt in a day. OpenSea being the top one, it's burned over $1 million in ETH. Uniswap V2 being number 2 in terms of how much ETH being burned. It's burned about $750,000 at the time of writing this. This is very interesting right here. So at this rate, Uniswap alone is burning 350,000 ETH in a year. So that's close to 1 billion. So Uniswap alone is projected to burn about $1 billion of ETH alone. And it's not even number 1, because OpenSea is number 1 going on here. And there's a lot of other places ETH is getting burned. Very, very interesting. So when combined with the reduction in block reward issuance from the merge of proof to proof of stake, the fee burning could lead to Ether having a deflationary supply, meaning that there would be more ETH being burned every day than new ETH coming into the supply. Meaning the true daily total of Ethereum is lower and lower every single day. That's interesting. So, by the way, this would see it fulfill the increasingly used meme of ultrasound money. By the way, ultrasound.money is a good place to watch the amount of ETH being burned. Let's go to that real quick. So, since the hard fork, which is, about 36 hours, 6,400 ETH have been burned. How much is in here are where they're getting burned. OpenSea being the biggest. Uniswap down here. Again, Axie Infinity actually being number 2. That's fascinating. MetaMask, USD Coin, Tether. Interesting. Axie Infinity being number 3. Very interesting. Very, very popular coin and game going on right now, Axie Infinity. 6,400 ETH being burned. What does that add up to? You gonna give me a number? What's the dollar amount of 6,400 ETH in the first, roughly 36 hours? Let's go to a calculator real quick. Let's go times, where's times? Times, what's ETH? I would say 2,900 equals 3. So that's $18.5 million worth of ETH burned in the first 36 hours. That is a good reason to be bullish. That is a very good reason to be bullish, because when we're talking about supply and demand ratios, the supply is way less. The demand is at least the same, but probably higher, but at least the same. But the supply is now less, significantly less. In particular, the new supply coming in, which is a massive factor in terms of the supply and demand ratio in the crypto world, or anything, because that's what the actual stock to flow ratio is, if you've heard of that, which means stock meaning the current amount in current supply, and the flow is the flow of new supply, right? So those are the two things that make up the supply. When you have the stock, but your flow is now way, way, way less, the actual supply is drastically affected. Because not only, because it's still overall the total supply of ETH is going up, but it's going up at a much slower pace. And the buying actually right now, the demand is higher than it has been. So ETH, I think ETH has got a long ways to go. Again, when I'm looking at the chart here, again, I'll put a link in the description for this trading view here. I have one of the paid versions. I suggest getting the paid version, one of them. There's several versions. I just have the lowest one because it just gives you more power. 29.31. So it looks to me like on the 1 hour chart, 1 hour, we're getting near top. So I think we are going to see a correction. I wouldn't doubt if it goes down below, definitely go down below 2,900. In my opinion, not financial advice, but I think it could go down below 2,800, which put us about right here. Actually, right here is probably the mark, would be my guess. If it starts going down, I think it's going to at least go down to here, because as you can see here, you know, this went down at the bottom to about where this top was, right? Because here's the resistance, but here's also the support. Support and resistance are kind of the same. So then this went up above through that resistance, then it came down to the support, which was the previous resistance. Now it's went up. I expect it to come down to at least, 2840. But it could go all the way down to 2800, even as low as, 2750. That's what I think. As you see back here too, when it hit up here, this resistance, it went all the way down here to what? About 2532, which was where this resistance was here, right? But it really went down to here. It's low, 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 which didn't last very long, was down here at about 2530, which is where this support is and that resistance was. See what I'm saying? See how this stuff flows? So I'm thinking it'll go at least to here, but it could go all the way down to here. Okay? So I think it's a good time, in my opinion. I'm going to probably be placing a short on this using BitB. Anyways, that's what I got for you today. I think we're hitting a top. I think Ethereum and Bitcoin are going to dip here some. How much, I don't know. They could go, like I said, to about 28, anywhere from 2850 to 2720. That's my range. So other than that, thanks for watching. It's a good time to be in crypto. Stay classy. Hit that like button and subscribe. You're awesome.